Hello, and welcome to the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting Podcast. We are two sisters who share our fondness for knitting, the things that we create, and the love we have for the knitting community. And we do it with a twist of both the frivolous and the frugal. I am Frivolous Dawn, and in our family's birth order, I am the fourth of 8 children.
Hello, and I'm Frugal Miss Penny, and I am the oldest in the birth order. We're so glad to have you back, and here's a hearty shout out to our returning viewers. It just tickles us that you come back to watch each episode, and as always, we're hoping that you will glean something from our fiber adventures. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we're so excited that you found us. Please thank the person who recommended us or let us know, because we'd like to thank them. And we hope you too will walk away with just a nugget or two from what we have learned or enjoyed throughout our escapades over the past couple of weeks. So without further ado, please grab your knitting, your favorite note-taking device, and your sense of humor. Logic might help, but not necessarily needed. And join us for episode 78 of the Frivolous and Frugal podcast. Take it away, Dawn.
That is good. Logic may help. Well, sometimes it helps. Okay.
Well, yeah. Just like we twist frivolous and frugal, we twist logical and illogical.
That'll be our next silver or shiny little thing we chase. Well, tell us what you're wearing.
Oh, the same thing I've worn 14 other times. And this is the Neck Down Cardigan by Diane Soucy. It was the very first cardigan I ever knit back in the early 2000s. So it is knit in Plymouth Encore, and this blue is circa early 2000s. I have no idea what it is. It's a little tweedy mix. I'm sure it's part of the color twist they have. I can't think of it right now off the top of my head. But anyway, I knitted on US size 8 and 6. And on the Frugalometer, it earns a $sign both for the fiber and for the pattern. And by the way, I would knit this pattern again 3 more times if I had time.
I want a cardigan like that.
Tell you what, I really like it.
I know, and it looks great. It's held its shape. You know, it stood the test of time.
Yes,
great.
I agree.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, what about you? What are you wearing?
Well, this is Roadrunner DK by Mary-Ann Lammers. She also sells a pattern for worsted weight, but you're going to see me mess with it. I just can never get it to lay right. So I don't know whether I need to have less neck or what, but you'll see that as I go, it kind of droops. So I like the way it looks. I knit it in Julie Asselin Leizu DK in the hydrangea colorway. I followed the pattern exactly, and it was knit on a US size 6. But do you see what I'm constantly doing? Trying to get it to, so maybe Gorilla Glue to the sweater would hold it into place. But yeah, it's a beautiful purpley blue. I mean, for the color name hydrangea, it was a spot on. Yeah, so I would call I don't know if I put down the Frugalometer. I'm going to bet the pattern was probably a 2. And the yarn being indie dyed, I'd probably call it a 3 on the Frugalometer.
Sounds good.
And what is on your mannequin? Are we going to talk about that later?
It's going to be a double dip. Absolutely. I'm double dipping. This is one of my finished objects. Mm-hmm. For those of you who have been following the journey, this is the Inishmeane cardigan that I knit for my son. I don't have the buttons in, but you can see that it has it's a faced double neckline. It was the first project I'd ever done with saddle shoulders from the neck down. And it has a cable that runs the whole length of the arm. And a frugal tip, who needs quilt clips when you have clothespins? And this is a real genuine clothespin. It was knit in the Fibre Company's Arranmore, beautiful tweed fiber, which I really liked, in the Glevenbaugh Castle colorway, which is a nice, you can see that tweedy gray.
You can.
On the Frugalometer, the pattern I gave, I believe, a 3 on the Frugalometer, and the fiber was a 5. But what I liked about this fiber that was pleasantly surprising to me, even though it's a tweed, after blocking it, it did plump just a little bit, not much, still has vegetation matter in it. It's just great yarn. So I just have my ends to tuck in. I don't tuck those in until I'm ready to call it finished. I need to find 3 buttons. And for those of you who think I'm doing it backwards, let me explain my method behind my madness. I don't buy buttons first, and I'll tell you why. Because sometimes the buttons I buy don't look nice on the sweater, and I don't want to have to rebuy them or take them back and exchange them. So I take my sweater into the store and play with the buttons there. And so I'll do that this week, get those buttons attached, and put this in the mail to its recipient.
Now, make sure you get some good close-up pictures of that shoulder construction.
Mm.
That cable, because from where I'm at, the tweed, I can't see the cable. I know it's there, but I just can't see it.
That's true. And Dawn, here's just a little hack. This is the back side of our mannequin.
Get out. That is the back side of our mannequin.
It's the back side for males. So they were never designed that way, but that's how I'm going to show my males sweaters. I forgot to mention that earlier because the other side has appendages that this side doesn't need. So anyway.
I resemble that remark.
Oh, yes, you do. So anyway, I will try to get good pictures. You know, to me, I'm just not good. Even the one I posted under the project page was just this thing flat on a mat. So I will do my best, and it'll probably be better sported once I get that young man in it. We'll really be able to see those cables.
Oh, for sure. And it would be fun if, when you send it, if his girly girl could just shoot some video of like him doing a couple of twirls.
Oh, I'm sure.
Or just have her walk around him so you can see it from all angles. And then we could, if we'd ever figure out how to do that, we could insert that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we could. I'll ask her. I'm sure she would. She's very sweet. So anyway, yes.
Oh, I was gonna say, the reason I appreciate probably more than ever is when I look at a pattern on Ravelry and projects, I like to see it, like if it's something for me, I like to see it on somebody who's got the same body structure that I do. Because
good point.
On a mannequin, they lay nice and all that. And of course we use mannequins, but when it comes to how are you gonna wear it? How is it gonna fit? I think if you could do a comparison to somebody of similar body build.
Yeah, and we'll see how well I measured. Because I don't know, I may have to modify it. We'll see.
Yeah, wow.
But anyway.
Well, what's on my mannequin is for later discussion, but that is the first Raglan by Jared Flood. It's also my first sweater, and the tinking and frogging and reconstruction and deconstruction continues. So yeah, we'll talk about that during what we're learning or what's on our needles.
So this week, it's not what I'm knitting during the podcast, it's what I'm frogging during the podcast.
I see that.
So yes, I am frogging. So do you mind if I just do a quick comparison, Dawn? I'm sure many of you will remember, nobody remembers what we knit. I knit this sweater. It's the Sumburgh hooded pullover for my son. And can you see that well, Dawn?
That is beautiful. Yep.
Okay. So hence button lesson. But anyway, nevertheless, when he put it on, he wanted it a bit fitted. It's a very oversized pullover. When you look at the model, I would say probably 6 to 8 inches of positive ease.
Wow.
He wanted it a bit tighter across the chest. So that's what I did. And I just followed the pattern for the arms. Looking at the pictures on the pattern, they look just like they were supposed to. But this is what they look like.
Yeah.
Like my husband says, like bingo arms, like my arms. These would fit my arms nicely. See, he doesn't like that extra material there. No. So what he asked me to do, basically, if you will, I'm going to turn it upside down, is just get rid of all that. Now, the easy way probably would have been just to detach my sleeve, frog it down here, knit it back up and attach it. But I did not want to do that because I want you to see the beautiful join I have on both sleeves, and I am not going to try to replicate that.
Oh, yes.
See just how nicely that came together?
Yes.
I don't trust myself to duplicate that. So what I've been doing on the other sleeve is frogging from the cuff up. Now, lesson number 1 probably will not, I can't say this, I have one on my needles, but I will probably not knit another sweater with single ply. Pills way too easy. Any friction causes pilling. This is Malabrigo Mecha in the Tobaccos colorway. But because I am frogging from the bottom up and it was knit from the top down, I can't just rip. I'm really tinking basically. I have to undo every ribbed stitch. I've been working on this a week. Now, you know, I only get maybe 30 to 45 minutes a day to knit, but this has been brutally painful. But I wanted to save that because it's so obvious. So stay tuned. This might be done by Christmas. I want to get that to him so that I can move on to my next project because I'm still monogamous.
And there is a good example of, and I need to hear this too, take the time and fix it right so that you will wear it. Oh my gosh, we are sounding like our mother.
Aren't we? I know.
Did it right. Yeah, wow.
And so it has taught me too. I don't know how much sweater knitting I'm going to do unless I can go visit the recipients frequently during the construction process, because these both have caused me not grief, just more time than probably would have necessarily been needed if they lived right here or I lived near them or I could frequently ask them to try it on.
Sure.
So
good suggestion on the singles yarn too. As beautiful as it is, there's no doubt it pills.
very, very, I had no idea. It's only been worn once and tried on twice. And I can't even tell you the amount of pilling.
Yeah.
It's not good.
And if the
Anyway.
recipients, depending on who it's going to, there may be people not interested in gleaning.
Correct. Oh yeah. This recipient will.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He's fastidious about things like this. So he will do it, but yeah.
All right. I just have a
Anyway, what are you knitting? Because I see your hands moving too.
Yep, I'm just about the end of the row, but I'll start talking about it. I am participating in the Celtic Quilt Mystery #4. It is a year, not quite a year long, knit with Luise O'Neill. It started in September and we do 1 square a month. So this is square number 6. It is for February. And I see, according to the calendar, I have 2 more days to get it done. All the other ones I got done in time, so I'm determined. This is the February square.
How pretty.
So I'm on the border. Here, maybe a little bit closer.
Oh, I like that border, Dawn.
Yeah, I do too. I really like it. And all the squares have the same border. I am using Plymouth Encore in the solids. It's a worsted weight yarn. This is light gray, and then my other squares are medium gray. And I am knitting that on a US 7 and 8. 17 inches square is the goal. And I'm just going to at the end block them all the same. So I've been just steam blocking them at the end of every month to show. I will eventually, block them. I always think when you do that with cables, it helps tighten up the cable a little bit. I am every once in a while doing a cable without a cable needle, but for the most part, I'm still using the cable needle. So I am liking it. This is 6 of 9. So depending on how she has us join the squares, 9 squares may be a big enough blanket for me. I plan on using it like a throw on the couch. All of her squares from the 3 previous mysteries all have the same dimension. So you could buy those patterns and add more if you wanted to. And it sounds like there's people who do that. Yeah, so again, by Luise O'Neill, I am enjoying it. I try to knit like 4 rows a day if I can. And this month I wasn't able to do that. So otherwise I would have been done by now. So frugalometer.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I call it 2 for both the pattern and the yarn. The pattern's a little more expensive when you buy it, but you keep getting those updates every month with all of the squares.
You have Plymouth Encore as a 2. Frivolous Dawn. I have Plymouth Encore is a 1.
Oh, really? Okay. I'll call it.
Oh, don't adjust. Don't adjust. That's just funny to me.
I know, I didn't even think about it. In my mind, 3's like middle of the road. Yeah, so oh, crazy.
Hey, I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
Oh, sister of mine. Do you really need to block it if you're going to throw it in the washer and dryer anyway?
Just for podcast purposes.
Oh, okay, got it. I was gonna say
Somebody said,
oops, haven't done that in all the blankets I've knit.
you have to make a podcast pretty, Penny.
Oh, well, you should have told me that before I picked this background and this hairdo. And you got to give me a heads up on things like this. Okay, go ahead.
All right. And since you are monogamous, I guess I keep going, don't I?
Oh, yes, you keep going. You can
All right.
handle
Now,
many at a time.
I've been working on this next project for a while. It was part of a Advent mystery with the Silver Thimble Quilt and Yarn Shop here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We bought a kit and we could start knitting December 1st. And of course I did not. I haven't shown it because I didn't know if people were done. I am not done, but I was told it was okay to show. So this pattern we have a hard time pronouncing. It's Oupepe. So Oupepe. Anyway, it is a crescent shawl. Let me see if I can come in a little bit. You can see some of the.
Oh, yes.
Features. I'm about just over half. In the shawl sizes that I generally knit, this will be a small shawl. It is with Juniper Moon Herriot yarn. It's considered a fingering weight. It's got a high alpaca content, so it is hairy and fine. Now, here's where I struggle. If I hold back, can you see in the blue and the brown the design?
Yes.
I can't see it when I'm working up close.
Oh.
So this last brown section got torn out 3 times because I could not see that design in there. And then by the time I was done with the section before I saw the errors. And I couldn't figure out how to tink it back. So this has gone into timeout a few times.
Would that have been an instance where you could have knit it on top of a white pillowcase or with a white background, or would that not have helped either?
No, that may have helped. Or could I just stop and look at my knitting once in a while?
Please.
I'm telling you, as simple as go into the bathroom and hold it up to the mirror. It is that simple. Now, some of these designs I could see much better. So the why do I think this blue is a different company? This is Llama lace by
I
Queensland.
think it was Queensland collection.
Yeah. Now it's called Llama lace, but it's not lace weight. It's 400 and something to 100 grams. But I swear I'm knitting on lace. It is so fine and delicate. So we all got the same kit with the same colors and all kinds of goodies in the kit. It was a brilliant Advent kit. We agreed we wanted to do another one next year, but I don't know about you. It's just not a good time of the year for me in December to set aside a time every day. So I think next year it may, I'm sure they'll tweak it some way. But this design was by Camille Descoteaux.
Well, yeah, we think that's why we don't know how to pronounce the name of the pattern. If you look at even just Pepe, it can be Spanish or French, even some in Hebrew. So that's why we don't know how to pronounce it. So if anybody knows how, please let us know.
On a US4, I did follow the US4. Some of the ladies at the shop dropped down to a US3. So I'm sure it'll be fun someday when they're all done if we take a group picture.
Oh, absolutely.
I would call the pattern $2 signs. I would call the yarn 3. Now I say that it was all part of a big kit where we got all kinds of accoutrements and stuff in the kit. So yeah, Miss Tina there did a brilliant kit. So that was fun. I don't know when that'll be done since it's only halfway. It depends on how many times it gets put in timeout. All right, the next thing I'm working on is, it's another French term. It means life is beautiful. It's by Isabel Bloom. Not Isabel Bloom, Isabel Bloom's the pottery person. It's Isabel Kraemer.
Well, you put Isabel Bloom in the show notes.
We're from Eastern Iowa, where there's a pottery designer by the name of Isabel Bloom. So
Yes.
that's common language to us, probably not to the rest of
Yeah.
the world. It is Isabel Kraemer. It's an older pattern, but Haiku, which is a yarn by Skacel, has a base called Spray, and they did it in that. So you can see it's a very soft gradient change. I am in the chambray colorway, and you can see it's just a combination of garter and a simple mesh lace, and the numbers just change a little bit. In the description of the pattern, Isabel Kraemer said she gets together with friends once a year, and they have a design for when they get together, and this was the design for 1 year.
Oh.
So this is a shop model for silver thimble as well. I'm following the pattern as far as needle size. It's on a US 6. I would call the pattern a $2 sign, although it was gifted to me. And the yarn I would call 3. Now, interesting thing about this yarn, and let me show you. Can I show you? Maybe not. There it is. Follow the yarn. It comes in a 200 gram.
Ooh.
You will need just 200 grams to do the project. So, and there's beautiful other colorways in this spray. It is a DK weight. It is really squishy. It's been very pleasant to work with. Michelle Hunter designed quite a few shawls for Skacel using that yarn. So, but hopefully that will be done by our next podcast. Now, let's do some mohair. Take the mohair dare, Miss Penny. Look at this. This is mohair. Oh, this is just mohair goodness. Ooh. Why do I make that sound like I'm a stuck hog? Okay. Another Iowa term, stuck hog. Okay.
Yep.
This is a pattern by Georgia Farrell. She is a designer for Rowan. This pattern is in the Rowan magazine 70. It's called the Asymmetric shawl. It is just mohair. So I'm holding 2 strands of each color. You can see it's a very simple asymmetric pattern. I can't tell you how nice it is to hold 2 strands of mohair together. It is really, I thought maybe I'd be having trouble with yarn management and the yarn getting all stuck together. Not at all. Yeah. So I'll finish this. I'm about halfway through this green and dark gray, and then it goes, the third and final section goes back to the dark gray back with the white. And actually it's not a white, it's a light gray. So
Is this going to be a smaller shawl, Dawn?
yes, it's a shop
Okay.
model too.
Okay.
You know, here's the problem. And I am rather frivolous, especially when compared to you. 9 skeins of Rowan's Kid Silkes for a small shawl. Yeah, I struggle with that a little bit, as much as I love it.
But we had one of our viewers offer 2 suggestions in the discussion thread for episode 77. So we appreciate that. I know one of the suggestion was nitpicks, and then there was another suggestion.
Yep.
So thanks for those options.
And I have ordered some Knitpicks white mohair for another Melanie Berg project. So I'll be able to do a comparison. Now, here's the other thing too, and I probably have said this, and Rowan's patterns are not available for individual sale. You have to buy the book. The book's $30, 30 plus. So now $30 for the pattern, 100 and whatever plus for the yarn. That becomes an expensive project. Now, maybe for a recipient, and that's what you had in mind, go for it. But I struggle in the whole frivolous versus frugal thing, or even as frugal as I am. So I'm glad I get to knit it as a shop model.
Well, if I had a frivolous and frugal product podcast, the first thing I would say to someone before you even buy a book, make sure you want to do multiple patterns.
Right.
because really that's when it becomes cost effective.
Absolutely.
And the second thing I would say is look for it used on one of the used book sites, because, or you can find used books at Goodwill or, thrift shops such as that. Then it becomes very affordable. But that outright price just for one pattern is a bit senseless to me, even if you think about it from the point of being good stewards over our resources and the printing of material and the use of paper and ink.
Sure.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
But anyway, it is mohair delight. I'm just gonna sit here and hold it. All right.
Yep, you go ahead and do that.
Smells like smoke. Okay, so that is what is, oh yeah, last thing on the needles. Oh. First Raglan by Jared Flood. I'm doing the online class, Zoom class through Darn Knit Anyway, a yarn shop in Stillwater.
Well, that's what you're saying. Darn it anyway. I agreed to do this.
So I swear I've knit this sweater 4 times already. So I'm happy with it so far. So where I was last time was this sleeve. Let's see if I can get to this sleeve. The pattern calls for a blouse sleeve. And why did I not understand what a blouse sleeve was? So I'm following the pattern. It's knit. Let me see. I'll show you a picture so you can see it. It has 3/4 length sleeves. I want full sleeves. So I'm following the pattern, and right below the elbow, it's telling me to start decreases. And in my mind, it was just going to slowly taper down. Well, that's not what a blouse sleeve is at all. So they're like, Dawn, if you want to knit the sleeve longer, just keep going and do your decreases as you get near the wrist. Yeah, so much for logic. So anyway, I did that.
Optional.
I tried it on and I didn't like where it was hitting me. It was hitting me like almost bracelet length, and I wanted it closer toward the wrist. So I tore it back out and knit 3 more inches, and now I'm just starting the decreases. I tried it on again after I did some of the ribbing. I dropped down 2 needle sizes. So I dropped down from a 7 to a 5, and I wasn't happy with how tight that ribbing was going to be on my wrist. I wanted it tighter. So I ripped it back out, the ribbing, and now I'm starting it on a US 4. And I will do a couple more rows and then I'll try it on again. So I like these blouse sleeves. Why? They are just so retro. Oh, just 1980s cool. If the 80s were cool. Now, here's the other problem is I did not like the ribbing on the bottom. So Penny and Nikki and I tried it on one night with Knitting with the Aunties, and where the ribbing hit me, and I did a split hem, it just brought all the attention to the widest part of my hips, and it was not attractive. And so, I pouted for a while and then tore out all the ribbing, and I just reattached, and I will continue. I compared it to a sweater that I like. I'm going to continue to the same length where the ribbing was, but just in straight stockinette. I'm going to keep increasing every 6 rows at the hips to give me some more wiggle room there. And then I think I'm going to do a turned hem. So I'm not going to put ribbing on at all, as it just does not hit me well at all. So I will share with you how I decide to do a turned hem. I understand most people who do turned hems do them when you do a sweater from the bottom up. So I will have to do some hand stitching, it sounds like, to attach it on the inside. But I still have another whole sleeve to go too. So maybe by Christmas. Together, we'll have something finished by Christmas.
Well, might I remind you that you, of your own volition and of sound mind, have already volunteered to do, I believe, 2 other sweaters?
Oh, and now I didn't even tell you 3. So I signed up.
Oh, I don't have one bit of sympathy for you.
I know.
For the
Come on.
record.
If I pout, does that help here?
Nope, does not pout. I'm going to tell you what my mama said. Don't stick that lip out there. You know what she would say after that. Okay.
I do, yes. And we probably shouldn't say it out loud.
No, but anyway.
Right.
You volunteered.
I know.
So there's no one to blame but yourself.
Well, I know. I signed up for ranunculus. I need a ranunculus, like I need a hole in my head, right? I don't even know what a ranunculus is, but I know it's a sweater. And then April starts the next class, that's the antler cardigan. I'm going to double dip and join the Cardi party for that. That is a knit along done by Around the Table Yarns in Shaker Heights, Ohio.
Yes.
And Magpie's Cottage is going to do soundtrack.
Oh my goodness.
And I need a soundtrack. All right, so
okay. So here's an option. Knit it for someone else if you don't want to knit it for yourself.
great idea. Send me your measurements.
Oh, no. I can't do pullovers. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Okay. So,
Once I put them on, I want to pull it over my head so I can't see myself in it. So yeah, no.
oh, that's how I need to wear this, like a bandit. Okay. So soundtrack by Marie Green. Okay. I will start the class. That's all the farther I'll go. All right,
Are you using stash for that or are you going to purchase?
I have no idea. Now for the antler cardigan, we had bought piece fleece.
Yes.
This sweater ended up changing our mind. So I'm using that. And you know, Penny, my piece fleece is the same as that Rowan tweed that we've been sharing back and forth. So
Okay.
I won't need that Rowan tweed. I don't think.
Okay. So then I'm going to use it because I think I have another sweater in mind to knit for me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then ranunculus, I'm using stash. And I don't know anything yet about soundtrack. So I would love to use stash if I can do it. All right. So
I feel a double dog dare coming on. I double dog dare you to use stash for soundtrack.
I will accept the double dog. See,
You are so easily baited and trapped.
I cannot say no to a double dog dare. All right.
Okay. Anyway,
What
what's off your needles?
So yours was a sweater, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just have a couple of things. The Musselburgh is done.
Look at, and you did use that at the end.
I needed
I think that was a great decision. Good job.
So this is a hat for my husband. I ran out of yarn. This first, well, the Musselburgh is a pattern on Ravelry by Isolde Tig, Musselburgh or Musselburgh, however you want to pronounce it. This is yarn from Stash. It is socks that rock light in the Night Rider colorway. And I ran out of yarn, so I did have this in Stash. This is Road to China Light by the Fibre Co. And it is a little bit of cashmere. They say it's DK weight, but this was a heavy fingering. So when you laid the two yarns next to each other, they were very similar as far as diameter. I did use a US 3. That was the gauge that I liked. The Musselburgh this is the adult male or the adult large. So it is a fun hat that if you aren't familiar with it, what do you mean if you're not familiar with it? Everybody's knitting them. That hat just slides inside. Let's see. Here we go. And then it turns up. I like that thickness around my ears.
Yeah, I think I'm going to buckle and knit that for Mike. I think he would like that.
I think he would. And I think I like this. Now there's a problem.
So you don't want to give it to him. Oh my goodness.
I know. And it's got cashmere, that Road to China Light.
Dawn.
I know his bald head will appreciate it, right?
It will. It really will.
You know, I'm going to cast another one on right away. I bought some Gauge Dye Works self-striping. I saw it done in self-striping. Now, the other thing, can I go on a whim here? We were doing Zoom knitting the other night, and Miss Ellen from South Dakota is working on a Musselburgh. And she's about maybe this far, a third down. And she goes, what would happen if I just went 2x2 ribbing for a period of time? And then at the end went back to stockinette so that when you flipped it, that flip would be 2x2 ribbing. Brilliant. Never thought of it. Somebody did it on Ravelry and gave the details.
Oh,
So
really?
Ellen, I can't wait to see it. I'm going to use self-striping next time, so I probably won't put ribbing in it. But if I do another one in a solid, I'd be so tempted. Yeah. So again, for a climate like Wisconsin, this what actually becomes 4 thicknesses around the ears is very useful here. So yeah, so I like it. So I did use a US size 3. I called the pattern $3, and the yarn, I would go 3 too, $. Nice. All of that, Penny, was stash. All right.
Oh my goodness.
think it
I'm
was-
impressed.
Miss Norma Double Dog dared me to knit 6 projects this year from stash. Ha ha.
Well, you know what though? Okay. I'm glad she did that, but it's going to be easy for you with the lucky dip. You'll have 12 from stash.
Absolutely. So let's go to that one next. There's my lucky dip. All right. Oh, here's my here's my head.
Oh, have you named him yet?
No, but my head's more pale than I am. That's pretty sad. Okay. I got this on Amazon. I'll put the link up. 22-inch head. So this is, I've got to get the name of this right because Towards North Hat. It's by Asita Krebs. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, and this is my lucky dip. So this was the stash yarn for the month that I drew. I am participating in the Lucky Dip Cal with Dude Knits podcast. The yarn is beautiful. Look at that color.
I know, that is very pretty.
Malabrigo worsted, which is a worsted weight. It's a singles. And when I put that into Ravelry under advanced search, this pattern came up using this exact colorway.
Really?
Yeah. Now I'm going to take it off the head because I want to show you something.
All right.
Can you see this decorative stitch?
Yes.
It goes horizontal. It's
Yes.
called a Vickle stitch. What's Vickle? Okay. I thought that was going to be too tight around the head, that would actually be constricting. Why did I have that preconceived notion? There's nothing restrictive about it. It is nice.
Oh, really?
So, again, look, it just fits nice.
Yes, it does.
Now, not super warm, I don't think, but super cute. And
maybe we need the cutometer.
oh yeah, the cutometer. Now I'm a winter weenie, meaning I go from a warm house to the garage where I've warmed up the car. And I make my son get out and pump gas at the gas station. So, yeah. So free pattern. So I'd call that 1 on the frugalometer. Malabrigo worsted. What did I give that? Did I give that a 2 out of stash? I do have a little bit left, so I should be able to get a cute little hat as a Christmas ornament. So, and last but not least, one more hat. I think I was knitting this last week. Look at how cute that turned out.
Ooh,
See if I can come
Dawn.
closer.
I like that one. I think I said that last time though too.
Yeah, this is Josie. I could, I guess, put it on the head. This is a pattern from Rowan's Mode Beanie Book. 6 patterns. Now there's a good deal. 6 patterns, $6.
Yes.
I've knit 3 of them now. This one I knit before in the yarn that the pattern called for, but it was 100% alpaca and it had no memory. So it just kind of hung. But I did a couple of things different. I don't know if that looks any better. I know that's blowing out. Yeah. Oh, pom-pom. Okay. So when I did the last hat, I thought it was too loose and it didn't tighten in around the ribbing. So I dropped down to a US 5 to do this. Just want to make sure that is right. And I lengthened the ribbing to 4 inches. It called for 2. I went 4 so I could flip it. And so it'd be warm around the ears. You guys, this is Rowan Soft Alpaca DK. It is luscious yarn. It's in a light pink and the colorway is called Blossom. I also just kept knitting longer to the body of the hat till I liked the look of it. I got this pom-pom from an Etsy shop from the Republic of Czech. And if I can remember to put that name of that Etsy shop in, I will. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's try that on. If you're having a bad hair day, just wear hats.
Yep.
I like this too. Man, I like it.
Yes, I do too. Very nice.
Yeah, so soft alpaca DK. So where does that on the frugalometer? I would call that 3 for the pattern. Although I shouldn't, because that was a good deal. I'm gonna change that to 2 for the
Okay.
pattern and 3 for the yarn. So,
Okay.
all right. And Penny, on here, it says you have something else done.
I do. I have one other project done. I had a sleepless night this week. And so I decided it was time to finish my granny stripe scrappy blanket. So
Oh,
I'm not going to undo it all. I still have to tuck in the end. I put a quick border on it, and literally every row is a different yarn. So what I learned from this project that I won't repeat in my next is I did a magic knot every row to connect to the new yarn. And for me, that left my edges looking a bit unfinished. So I went back and put on a very quick double crochet border, just because it's going to be a sluggish around blanket. So it is a free pattern. It is called the Granny Stripe Blanket. It is by Addict24. You go to their website. Actually, it's on the blog, and the description and directions are provided there. I used a size H hook. All of this was scrap yarn from as early as the early 2000s. And
wow.
I still have some left that I want to use and put to use. So I'm going to think about a different pattern. So on the Frugalometer, obviously, $1 sign for both.
Very good. I just think that is I like my blanket like that. So,
Yeah, I was going to make it much larger, but I think because of the quantity of yarn we use when you crochet, it was just getting too heavy. So, and unwieldy. So I just stopped right there.
excuse me, mine is heavy. I would agree with that. It is a great use of scrap yarn.
So what are you learning?
Well, I thought I was learning the Vickle. So I said, let's go rogue. When patterns call for a decorative stitch, why is it that I sit and think, do I really need it? And what's the purpose of it? So I made that assumption that that Vickle stitch was going to be binding and not as elastic, and I wasn't going to do it. And then of course the other part of my brain goes, follow the pattern, trust the pattern. And so that starts me thinking even about the sweater is, if you don't like it or you're not sure if it's going to work, try it. But when you try it, be willing to look back at it and say, you know what, I like it. Keep going. If you don't like it, rip back. So I literally think I will have this sweater knit 4 times by the time it's done. I knew heading in, it was new for me. I knew it was going to be a messy learning process. And there are times where I just want it to be done. But big picture, I wanted a sweater that fit. And that was I wanted to learn sweater construction. I don't know if I'll ever become an avid sweater knitter because I love, love, love my shawls. And I wear them all the time. But I am learning the rewards, I guess, of don't finish till you're happy with the product. Because if I knit it and never wear it, that would have been to no avail. So go rogue.
I'm going to just say what you said. Because basically that's what I'm learning too.
Oh.
I put just do it. I was intimidated by the process of altering an already finished garment, and I don't know why I was intimidated. It's only yarn. I found replacement yarn online. If I mess this up, I'll order replacement yarn and I'll start over or reknit the garment. I have nothing to lose and everything to gain in learning about how to do it. So yeah,
Wow.
just take the plunge.
And I know we say it every time, learning is a messy process. And if you're willing to learn and keep learning, which I think is important for our brain health and our mental health.
Yes.
I'm willing to do it. I may grumble a little bit, pout, put things in timeout for a little bit, but.
Because I think you and I believe this to be true as well. Learning is what gives to me value to what I've done, my time. I like knitting, but I also like being able to walk away from it knowing a little bit something more from each project,
Right.
Just even if it's a small tidbit.
And it just popped into my head is the inspiration we get from other people who continue to learn. I think of Grandma Eva.
Yes.
She
Yes.
She loves to learn. And oh, she's just so eager to do it and doesn't, yeah, she just wants to learn. And she was doing brioche the other day because she wanted to learn brioche. It's like, you go, Eva. You're an inspiration.
Absolutely.
I told her I want to be just like her when I grow up. So.
Oh, yes. And as well, me too, because
Oh,
boy, I don't want to ever stop growing and
absolutely.
learning.
Me too. Me too.
Well, that brings us to the portion of the podcast, which I'm sure some of you have been waiting for. If you don't care what's going on, this would be the time to sign off, and we'll see you during episode 79. But if you're interested in joining us for some events, some giveaways, and for some virtual events, then stay in for just a couple more minutes. Right now, we are about ready to announce our YouTube giveaway. During episode 77, we posted the question, actually posed it, we didn't and posted it. The question is, what is your favorite feature of a project bag and why? Oh my goodness, what fun responses. And by my informal inventory, overwhelmingly, it is a project bag that has stiff enough sides that you can roll them down, a flat bottom so it's sturdy, and the other thing is a drawstring top rather than a zipper to keep your yarn from getting caught, and finally pockets. Oh, we do have some fondness for our pockets, don't we? So random number generator selected as our winner for this episode, Miss Joyce Smize. Yay! Congratulations, Miss Joyce. You have won a pattern of your choice, not to exceed $10. Just contact Dawn and she'll make sure you get that pattern. So thanks for participating. And as a matter of fact, her favorite project bag is one with a flat bottom as well. Next, we took a random look at the Finish Fix Flip or Frog Cal and selected a winner for this. Did we select it for this episode, Dawn?
No, we didn't do.
No, it's episode 80.
Right.
So I'm okay. Sorry about that. Oh, phew. If some of you just started your heart racing because you thought you might be a winner because you entered that Cal, I am so sorry. Take a deep breath slowly in through your nose and out through your mouth, because we do have a couple more giveaways. The Fab and Frugal Cal. We chose our February winner, post number 62, Tinker Tailor 3, Miss Darlene. Congratulations. You posted a picture of your Zweig sweater. Thank you so much for doing that. And you too have won a pattern of your choice, not to exceed $10. Message Dawn and she'll get you hooked up. Because there were so many entries, we made another selection, and random number generator selected post number 83. Hey for Horses. And if we knew your first name, we would mention it. But since we don't, hey for Horses, you're a winner. Thanks for posting so much. The Pinus or Pinus cowl. We appreciated that post. You too have won a pattern of your choice, not to exceed $10. Please contact Dawn. The hat cal, the February winner for contributions is Miss Nikki 52879. Miss Nikki, thanks for posting a picture of your Musselburgh. We appreciate that in highlighter green. That'll get anyone's attention. You too have won a pattern of your choice, not to exceed $10. If you'll message Dawn, she will hook you up. For those of you who are still participating in that cowl, our March pattern is called Thinking Cap, and that is by Libby Johnson. It is at the top of that thread in, the link for that pattern is at the top of the thread in Ravelry. If you can't find it, just email me and I will send it to you. And Dawn's favorite cal, my dear Stephen West cal's February winner, is Maureen HD. Miss Maureen, thank you for sharing a picture of your spiraling cables triangle. And Dawn is going to describe your gift. Go for it, Dawn.
Nikki from Knick Knack Knits Co. Sent us this project bag. It has all of the little Disney princesses on it. So lovely bag, clear. I love it when you can see your project through here. So Maureen, if you would send me your mailing address, I will get that off. Also, we were sent another gift. Let's see if I can get this close enough. You guys have to see these stitch markers. Let's see if the camera will focus.
Oh, I like
Those
those.
are tiny beads hand put together by Handmade by Heather. Heather and Nikki have a podcast called Got Whips. Oh, look at that little ball of yarn. Oh, and that sheep. Handmade by Heather. She has an Etsy shop. We will put the link in the show notes as well. Heather, thank you so much for sending these. And Nikki, for this. Miss Marine, send me your address. And we may have to throw in a few other little frivolous and frugal goodies. And, I'm behind in sending out some prizes. So I have a few things that need to go in the mail this week. So if you're still waiting for something from me, send me a message, or I will send you a message when I actually make it to the post office.
Sounds good. And that is the totality of this episode's gifts. So thanks so much for joining and participating. We encourage you all to post your pictures if you get a chance and you're so inclined to do so. Now, we still have, hosted by Dawn, every Tuesday evening, our Zoom knit togethers. Those are a very relaxed time, I would say. Would you say informal time of knitting together? And Dawn, I believe you had a special guest this past Tuesday.
We did. So Christopher McGovern joined us. He is a designer with the name Professor Pearl. And so he's been following the podcast, and I sent him the Zoom link. And then this will be an honorable mention as well. He graciously gifted us a new pattern that's going to come out on Ravelry in the next couple of weeks. It's back here. It is called It's the Cable Guy Socks, a beautiful cable coming up the side. He was delightful. He just joined right in with the rest of us. And I just left that night with a big old smile on my face. So thank you for joining us, Christopher, and you're welcome anytime. If you do get a chance, he's got some beautiful color work patterns on Ravelry, as well as lots of sock patterns. Some are free, some are paid for, but we are grateful for the complimentary pattern that he gave us. So thank you.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And if, well, let me just say it like this. Dawn and I and Nikki and Brianna had a little powwow regarding our virtual events that we have every month. And we've noticed declining numbers, which tells us that now we're able to get back and knit with people face to face. There might not be as great a need for our virtual events. So beginning in March, we are only going to host one event a month. And if numbers continue to dwindle, we'll eventually stop doing it. But we're going to alternate 1 month, and it'll always be the second Saturday. Our event will be in the evening, the 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, or it will be in the morning, 10 to noon Central Standard Time. So keep in mind that we will only be offering virtual events now on the second Saturday of the month. And again, I will post the links. It will be up about an hour before the event starts, and you'll get more information on that in our next episode. But if you want to mark your calendars, our next event will be March 12th. That's the second Saturday. It'll be an evening event from 7 to 9 p.m. All right. And as we are all getting excited, we have our mini meetup in Chicago that is scheduled for July 30th and 31st. There is a thread in Ravelry where more details are provided. As always, please review the postings and the comments, because many of your questions will be answered by doing that. And as it gets closer, we will post more details. Now, just as a reminder, this is not a bougie conference. It is bougie in fellowship. We just sit around and knit and chat and get to know one another, but there are no huge prizes, big time events. We are just wanting to get to know one another. So if that's something that interests you, I believe you'll put this at the top of your list to join us. And Dawn, before we get to what would Nikki would say, our honorable mention, I know you thanked Nikki and Miss Heather, and I want to thank them again for being so gracious and giving us things to give away. Above all, I believe both Dawn and I like that most about having the podcast is being able to give and share with others. So if you have not yet watched their podcast, please tune in. It's got whips. And if you haven't visited their Etsy shops, the link is in the show notes. So please do that. And to echo Dawn, Christopher, I am so glad you finally made it to one of the Zoom nights. And it has been just a pleasure chatting with you in the comments from YouTube. And hopefully one of these days I will get to meet you face to face. So thank you for being gracious. I look forward to knitting that sock pattern. And I believe, Dawn, that is all I have for honorable mentions. What about you?
That's all I have too. So,
okay. Well, then what do you think our dear sister Nikki would say? Well, this week she says, no matter what your passion is, whether it's knitting, crocheting, cross-stitching, or golfing, enjoy those valuable moments because they will bring happiness to you and others as well. It's the sharing, right?
it is.
So as our little note in the back says, thank you so much, knitting family. You always leave us with full cups, encouragement, kind words, and your support means more than we can express. Words just aren't sufficient at the moment. So we're hoping that your week will be a sweet mix of the frivolous and frugal, and we look forward to seeing you for episode 79. Take care and happy knitting. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.